Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a great week. It is Black Friday season. You can also check out our Black Friday specials on our brand spanking new website. We've got a newly launched website. It is now called trading-waves.com. So just make note that we've got to be, we will have a few changes. So do not go to the old website. We have got a brand new website with all the resources that will assist traders in one place. So just check it out. For Black Friday specials, you can check it out on the new website. So the advantage with this, for the plans, for the monthly plans, if you get a plan on a Black Friday special, that means you keep it until you cancel it or for the rest of your life. So that price you're going to keep until you decide to cancel, or you just keep it forever. So that is the advantage with the monthly plans. And we've got a discount on our courses. Our next course starts on the 29th of November. That is exactly the weekend after the Black Friday. So you can take advantage of those specials. We hardly ever have that, but because we've got Black Friday now, you would get those discounts. Then they are already on and loaded on the website. So the prices that you will see on the site are already discounted. Right, so for contact details, you can check out the contacts on all our videos. Under the description of all our videos, you'll find our contact details as well as the links to our, the links to our website. So you'll see here we still have the old website, ElliottWavePrinciple.com. This is the last week's videos, but this week you'll find that this is a trading-wave.com. All right, and for those that are only specific or interested in watching specific pairs, you can check that out. We've got timestamps which will be loaded a couple of hours after the video has been uploaded. All right, so let's get started into this week's analysis. What we do, as always, is to look at how we forecasted the market the previous week, how the market played out, and what we expect of the market into the new week. We are approaching the so-called Christmas rally or the festive rally. So it looks like the market is starting to trend. We're getting some really good trends. So let's have a look at how the market has played out, just to a peek of some of the trade setups that we had in the last week. So let's start with EURAUD and see how EURAUD has played out. So if you look at EURAUD here, and what we were expecting that EURAUD is going to give us this wave 2 in the purple degree so that we can go all the way down. So this was around 61, expected it to go to 63 and then come all the way down to 55. So now, how did EURAUD play out? Let's have a look at the chart on how that has played out after that forecast. Now you will see that there was a massive drop as expected. You'll see that this is where we were. It's just now compressed. We wanted to get to 63, as close as possible to 63. Just show you where the 63, as close as possible to 63, and move to the upside here, and then that big drop all the way down to 55. So that was the chart, and that is how this one has played out. So all the way from 63 all the way down to about 53. That's about 900 pips drop in just a single trade. That is EURAUD. So that's just to show you again, that was the chart before, expecting that impulsive move in 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and that is exactly how that has played out. You'll see that all those 5 waves have now played out. There was the 2, 3 is what we're expecting, the 4 and the 5, and this is the latest move now that we're expecting on EURAUD, that it will continue to the downside to complete that wave 5. That is how we look at the charts. Now let's look at the rest of the charts. Next one will be Pound Chief. So Pound Chief, have a look at this one here. So we have got Pound Chief, the chart before, how we forecasted this one here. If you remember a couple of weeks back here, this was posted in September already. On the 4-hour, we expected this to come as low as 123 and then a bounce. How has that played out? So you'll see that we've already got this massive move from around 127 to as low as 123. That is a 400 pip move. Let's see how that one is played out. This is now Pound Chief, and this is how it has played out. Let's have a look at how it has played out. See here, so that was the move here, from the blue box, and we have dropped almost 400 pips from 128 to 122. So that's 400 pips. Now we are looking for this to continue to the downside. This is the latest chart here. Let's just go look at the chart here and what we expect going forward. I'm not going to look at this one again. So I'm going to go to the website and just show you how this works and where you find all the resources. So if you are a member, this is what you will always get. You always get these trades or the setups before the move play out. So all the pairs that I go through, you'll see that they are listed on the website here, and you'll find them in all time frames. So right now we're looking for the pound pairs and we're looking for pound chief. You can either find it there, or you can just go look for that pound pair there and look at pound chief. All right. So let's have a look at pound chief. I'm just going to explain why we focused it the way we did. Let's have a look at that, just to give you perspective of how we look at this. Let's have a look at that. All right, so there we have it. That is a pound chief, and that is how we're looking at pound chief. So if you look at the chart, so every single pair that we have on the website. So what we do is every single day before the London Open, you will have all the 1 hour charts updated. So that means when the market opens for London, you already have all these 1 hour charts updated. Then later on in the afternoon, you'll have the New York charts updated. So that means twice a day we update the 1 hour charts. So that is still the same chart. So we started from the weekly. So the weekly charts are updated every quarter. So this one was latest updated in October. So we wanted to see this one do this and then move to the downside. So the daily chart on that, let's have a look. So we are still in this setup here. We're still looking for this to continue to the downside. That is why we got that move to the downside, those 400 pips to the downside. We are looking for that to complete the WX in the yellow degree. Now that WX in the yellow degree, you'll see it on the 4 hour. That is what we are looking for here. So this is why we have been selling this one here. So remember the trade, this is where we sold from the blue box because we understood that we needed to complete the X in the yellow degree. And that's how we got that 400 pips, because we understood the structure, we understood the sequence, and that this was not complete to the downside. Now we are here. This structure has now completed, is already completed, that we focused it here. We will be looking for this to make a move to the downside. So we're still looking for continuation to the downside as far as pound chief is concerned. So these are the latest chart. This was the latest chart on Friday afternoon, New York, showing us that we're looking for downside. I'm just going to show you only this one because this is only privileged for the members. So this is what we're looking for this one to continue to the downside into the next session. This was New York on Friday. The Friday morning, we still expected this one to make a move to the downside. You can see, so London in the morning, we expected this to continue to the downside. We expected this to drop from here. You can see in New York, it's just a few candles, obviously, and it has already dropped at that point. Now we're expecting this to play out to the downside on pound chief. So that's how we've got that structured on the website, and that's how our members benefit from that. We also have from that trade setups. Let me just show you one of the trade setups that we've got, and we'll discuss that one there. We've got trade setups that have got specific entries and exits. So this one is Euro Pound, but I want to look at the blue box, a specific blue box trade setup. So you can see how we take these from the blue box. So trade setup and a blue box trade setup. And I'm just going to pick up one here that we took live from the trading room. So as I've indicated, we've got 1 hour charts updated before the start of the London session. Immediately at the start of the London session, we've got a live trading room session. So a session like we're having now, but it's live and we're looking at the market live, looking for trade opportunities, that is entries, as well as stop levels, as well as take profit levels. Now, this is the one that we took from the trading room. It's not on the charts before and afters because that is not completely played out as yet. So we took this one. This is pound New Zealand. Took it from the blue box, looking for this to continue all the way to the downside here. We have made a move slightly like this, and we are pulling back here like this on pound New Zealand. We'll be looking for this one to continue to the downside. That's how we're looking at pound New Zealand. If I just look at that one live on the chart, let's have a look at the latest chart on pound New Zealand so you can see how we took that one. So this was taken by all the members who were in the trading room. So there was our blue box set up here. As you can see, 3 waves, textbook 3 waves, blue box area here, reversal, that's where we took the trade. Now into the new week, expect this one to continue to the downside. I just wanted to show you how the website works in the meantime as well. Right, so let's continue with the rest of the setups. So there was a pound chief and very nice one. So pound chief, now this is pound New Zealand. Let's have a look at pound New Zealand. I've just shown you a trade setup on pound New Zealand. So just to give you a perspective here on pound New Zealand, this was from the 19th of September already. We expected this to pull all the way to the upside and make a continuation to the downside. You can see it's a similar structure to pound chief. We wanted this to happen and then a drop. Now look at how that plays out. So from September, we're already looking for that move. Look at how that move plays out. Now I'll show you exactly where that was. So this was the chart after now on pound New Zealand. This was September. If you remember, this is where we wanted to go. We wanted it to go up around this level and for this to drop all the way to the downside. Now, this is the latest chart from the weekend. So we'll be expecting this to make a continuation pattern here. This is why we've got the blue box trade set up here, looking for this to continue to the downside to go and complete that wave 3. So the sequence, when you've got the sequence in the cycles, this is how you know when to take the trade. So we got that one from the blue box. Now this is a continuation pattern. We're still looking for this to continue to the downside. That is pound New Zealand and pound chief. Now you've got USDJPY. USDJPY, we've shown this one a couple of times during our live trading room, not during the weekly outlook actually, where we were looking for this to make a continuation pattern here, come into the blue box and make a continuation to the upside. This is a US dollar yen, and this is how US dollar yen is playing out. So this is a small trade here on the 1 hour. We're already in the 1 hour. So we're already in the 1 hour here. Let me just show it here. So we're already in the 1 hour. We've already reached the blue box. So we're expecting this one to push to the upside. We're basically consolidating at current levels and want to see how that is going to play out going into the new week. Right, so that is a pound. There was a US dollar yen. Let's have a look at pound CAD 1 hour setups. These are only just from the last week. So we have been looking for pound CAD to make these pull back before continuation to the downside. Look at that AB in the white degree on a pound CAD and see how that one is played out. So this is how pound is playing out. So that AB in the white degree, ABC in the white degree is currently playing out. This is the A in the white, this is the B. As you can see here, we've already started with a move to the upside. We want to see 3 waves. And if you look at this here, you'll see that we already have started with 3 waves here. We do expect that this may pull back in another 3 waves to give us the WXY in the blue degree. Look at that blue degree, WXY. This is what we're expecting here on pound CAD. And then the drop when we get to this level, you'll see similarities between this with a pound New Zealand as well as pound chief. Right, so expecting this to pull back a little bit, move up to complete the structure and then downside. So we'll be tracking that. That is pound CAD. Right, now the NASDAQ, look at the NASDAQ. We've been talking about the indices for a while and how they're making parabolic moves. So if you remember, this is the wave 4. A couple of weeks back, this was October, the first week of October, where we looked for these to give us 3 wave pullbacks into the blue box and a push to the upside. What has happened with the NASDAQ since? We all know what has happened. It has been a parabolic move to the upside ever since those 3 wave pullbacks. And since then, we've just been saying every time you get a continuation pattern, you just keep buying. What is happening now? We'll be expecting that we start getting a deeper correction, and that is the current situation now with the indices. So that was the blue box setup. Look at how that plays out. So, hundreds of points to the upside on the NASDAQ. Let's look at the rest here. The DAX was similar. We also got the 3 wave pullback here. Also got the 3 wave pullback here, gave the blue box setup here. So there was the NASDAQ blue box setup and a continuation to the upside. Here is showing you another trade setup with entry, with a stop loss and the take profit area. And that is the DAX. How is the DAX playing out? you all have seen these charts. You've seen what the indices have been doing over the last couple of days. But I think now it's time to get those pullbacks. That's why you see we are forecasting this. So the setup here, if you look at that, we wanted to buy there, has reached target spectacularly, and we are now looking for a pullback, deep pullback across the indices, as you will see when we start with the market analysis. And that's how we've been looking at the market in the last week. So guys, if you like what we do, give us a thumbs up. That encourages us to see that you guys like the content, so we can do more. And also subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Hit the bell notification button so that you get an alert the next time we upload a video, and share the video to friends as well. Right, so let's get started with the analysis for this week. I'm just gonna take this off here for a bit so we can clean up the screen here on all these charts. Right, so we'll start with the US dollar pairs. Okay, let's start with the US dollar pairs. Let's go to resources here. I want to have all my instruments in one place when I start. So while that is loading, let's start. All right, so that is what we have there for the week. What do we expect? Let's start with the US dollar pairs. We'll start with the DXY. Now the DXY, let's go into the bigger structure here and see how we've been looking at this for some time now. So I'm just gonna clean this up here, clean this up, clean this up, clean this up, clean this up. Now the DXY and the Euro, we have been expecting these to play out as a three-wave structure and push to the downside. This is very close to our invalidation levels. So our invalidation level is at 96.44 for the DXY to play out this move to the downside. If we touch that level, that means this is actually an impulse and we're not going to expect a reversal. However, at some point here, very close to current levels, we are going to have a pullback in three waves, but that pullback may not necessarily be that move that we've been looking for. And just be a pullback. As long as it does not touch this level here, will be a five-wave move to the upside. Let me just draw that level. So firstly, this will be the invalidation level. If we touch the 96 here, a pullback here, we should not have this one touching here. If this is going to be an impulse in 5 waves, remember a wave 4 should not come into the territory of wave 4. So we'll be expecting a pullback, but that will not necessarily be the reversal that we have been expecting all along. So let's see how that plays out. Still showing a bit of a push to the upside. Let's have a look here on the DXY to see what we've got. So we still have here what looks like a 4-hour setup that's going to continue to push to the upside. So on Friday during the live trading room, we saw that this was still going to push to the upside, and it's very close to that 96.44. I know there's questions about why is 96.44 the invalidation area. That is based on the strategy that we use. We've got areas, technical areas that confirms structures as well as invalidate structures. So in this case, our invalidation is exactly at 96.44. If I can, let me see if I can just get this here. Okay, I won't be able to project it here now. So 96.44 is invalidation. We are not going to get that reversal all the way to the downside. Let's just go back to the weekly chart here to see what the structure was that we were expecting. Let's look at the US dollar pairs and look at the DXY. And look at the weekly chart, show you why, what we were expecting there, and how this is going to affect the structure. So that is the DXY. Let's go to the weekly chart. So the DXY on the weekly, look at the bigger structure here. This is not even the 3 waves that we've been showing you here. The 3 waves that we've been showing you has been this structure. This has been this. We're looking at this one to be a wave 4 here, and a move to the downside to complete the wave 5, and then we're going to have the C and the move to the upside. So this is why all along we've been expecting that these 3 waves here will continue to the downside to complete the structure, because if we continue to the upside here, this move here in yellow is not a valid Elliott wave structure. Okay, so if we start making a push to the upside here, it's going to be making a different structure like this. Let me show that in a different color. So we're going to start making a different structure like this. So we could have a structure like this here. Okay, so then we'll see this one go even more sideways. So that is the structure that we'll expect. So regardless of what we expect here, we should start getting a pullback here on the DXY. Pullback to the downside. Let me just go back here. Pullback here after that level. We should start getting a pullback. Let me get the right we should start getting a pullback, a deeper pullback before a continuation to the upside to confirm that structure. So Euro US dollar is similar, just the inverse of what the DXY is showing us. So let's have a look at the Euro on the weekly. Similarly on the Euro, let's take this off here, let's switch off. So similarly on the Euro, we've been expecting this one to play out this three-wave structure and a continuation to the upside. But this looks a little bit too overextended and does not have the right look anymore. And just like the DXY at current levels, we're going to start expecting a three-wave pullback. And that three-wave pullback may not necessarily be that fifth wave that we were looking for. And we have now entered around this territory where we cannot have this as a wave 4 anymore. Okay, so this is the invalidation level. That is our wave 1, our 2. So if 4 comes into this territory and it already does not have the right look, so we are going to invalidate that. So let's go look at that weekly chart, Euro weekly chart, and see how that is playing out. So let's have a look at Euro weekly and compare with the structure. We have to go into a bit more detail here because this is a critical area. It's either reversal or continuation. Let's have a look at the weekly chart. So this is where we are on the Euro. So the Euro, we have been looking for this, just like the DXY, looking for this to make a three-wave structure here and continue to the downside. But that three-wave structure needs to complete with this, making the last bit of wave 5, and this is where it is failing and continuing to the downside. So if it fails just like the DXY, means we are making a different structure, and we could possibly be making a 1, 2, 3 wave structure like this. Okay, so we'll be updating that structure depending on how that plays out. That is the Euro. Right, so let's have a look at all the rest of the structures. Right, we've got pound US dollar. Let's have a look at pound US dollar. Pound US dollar. Let's look at the 4-hour. So pound US dollar in the week, we've been expecting pound US dollar to give us a three-wave pullback like that and continuation to the downside. That is on the 4-hour. You see that this chart was on the 13th of November. That was the start of the week. So we've been expecting that three-wave pullback, and that three-wave pullback has already happened. Let's go 4-hour here. This is still the weekly chart. So we've started already with a three-wave pullback on the pound. That is the three-wave pullback you saw that we're forecasting in the middle of the week. So we've got the 3 waves. There's a possibility that we've got this one as 3 waves. We get another 3 to the upside. As you've seen there, we're expecting this to be a deeper correction, give us a WXY corrective structure, and continue to the downside. So far, we've only made a small, a first leg here of the W. It's a possibility that pound pushes up to around this level before pushing to the downside. Now look at the chart here on pound US dollar and see how that's going to play out. Let's have a look here. Let's go back. On the 1 hour, you'll see it's playing out exactly as forecasted. What you don't see on the 4 hour is that the move to the upside that we're forecasting there is actually 3 waves. This is what you see now during the Euro open, that we're actually looking for this 3-wave structure that I've shown you earlier, and that's how it is playing out. So even if we've got this, if you see here, this was during London, New York, we already had this pulling back here. You'll see this during New York. You see how detailed this is. Look at that during New York, or this one is, it was before the move, but it's already played out. This has already played out. This X here in the Y degree is what you're seeing here. That is the X here. The W, the X in the Y degree, which we are looking for this one to do this. Okay, that's how detailed that analysis is and those charts are. So that's what we're expecting on pound US dollar CAD. Now, US dollar CAD, I have to look at the bigger structure as well. I want to look at the bigger structure. Let's see here if I can get the bigger structure here. There's a new website, so I'm showing you all of this just today, so you can see where we're coming from. Now, US dollar CAD, let's have a look at the structure and we'll see why we have been selling US dollar CAD for some time, almost the whole of this year. We're only getting the pullback now. So if you look at US dollar CAD, this is the reason why we've been selling US dollar CAD. We've been selling US dollar CAD from here, expecting that ABC corrective structure flat. This is a classic flat correction here. We are now here pulling back with this move. Question is, are we still going to get that last wave 5, similar to what we have on the Euro, or this has now started the move to the upside to continue to start giving us the Y leg here. That Y leg in the Y degree, let me put this in white, W, X, and a Y. So we may have already started a move to the upside to go and get that wide leg. But for now, let's just have a look at this current 4-hour scenario here on US dollar CAD. So we're just going to look at this. So this is where we are with US dollar CAD. Look at that structure here. We've got a nice textbook zigzag correction here. We've got a 5-wave move up here. There's a move here that's pushing to the upside. So we can get this one up in 3 waves. So we can have this one as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We can have this one as 1, 2, 3 as well. So a pullback on US dollar CAD and continuation to the upside is the expectation. US dollar CHF is similar. You'll see that in the lower degree on US dollar CHF, there's this very interesting structure here. We've got this as a running flat here. We've got this move that's already started here. So the possibilities are that US dollar CHF is playing out this structure here, a continuation pattern here. We'll see this push to around this level or even the previous highs here, completing this structure as follows. So that will be an A, B, C corrective structure here, and then we see more upside. Lower degree, you'll see A, B, C corrective structure, and we see this one push a little bit higher. So that is the expectation on US dollar CHF. Audi US dollar, so these have been bearish as much as we wanted to see the reaction here from the blue box area. Instead, we've seen 3 waves to the downside. We've got 3 waves to the upside here in the purple degree, 1, 2, 3. That's why you see this one pushing lower. So we've got a move down here at some point here around this level. So you should see this pulling back in 3 waves before continuing to the downside. That structure will be simply this yellow degree here, 1, 2, 3. So expect a 3-wave pullback. That will be a bearish continuation pattern to the downside on Audi US dollar. New Zealand US dollar will be similar. It's a similar structure as you'll see as well here. We've got this as a 3-wave structure, 1, 2, 3 there. We've got that, and then we've got this 1, 2, 3 textbook zigzag there. We've got a move to the downside. This is still bearish. As much as it can push to the downside, you are going to get a pullback together with all the US dollar pairs. When they make these moves here, that would just be a bearish move for more downside, giving us this WXY corrective structure, bearish moves to the downside all across. US dollar ZAR, obviously the US dollar is showing strength against the US dollar here, rather against the South African rand. We have got this one here as a 3-wave structure. 1 corrective structure here, expanding flat. We're expecting the US dollar ZAR to play this one as a diagonal. So we're looking at this one here as a diagonal. Is it going to play out as a diagonal? If it does, then you'll see that this will be 5 waves here. So you'll have here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We'll have this one as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We do know that with diagonals, the wave 5 can push above the upper boundary between waves 1, 2, between waves 1 and 3. So usually wave 5 can overshoot. You all know this if you've read the Elliott wave theory on diagonals. This is a diagonal triangle. It's not a triangle. So this happens. So you can have this one here playing out as a 3-wave structure here, US dollar ZAR. Will we get the reversal here? Let's see if we're going to get a reaction here in 3 waves that will give us an ABC corrective structure here up to this level. That's how we're looking at US dollar ZAR. Pound yen. Now, pound yen, let me show you the weekly structure as well. I think I've shown a couple of times why this is potentially going to give us a big move to the downside. This is the reason why. You've got a textbook flat correction here, okay? We've got textbook flat correction. So any corrective structure that you see, any trade setup that you see here to the downside, you take it, because that could be thousands of moves to the downside all the way down here on pound yen. Now, a couple of days back, we've showed that there was a very strong divergence between that last wave 3 and 5. This was the wave 3 here. We're looking at this one as wave 3 here, 4, and the 5, okay? So you see that there's very strong divergence between the RSI and price when it comes to that level. Look at that. So this was 3, 4 to 5, and this is now exactly at the same points. That's very strong divergence. The RSI was not confirming the next leg up higher, even though we still expect this to push a little bit higher here, but because of that strong divergence, we're now seeing this move to the downside now. Any setup here on the 4-hour on pound, look to take that move, because that will be the possibility of a start of a bigger move to the downside. There is currently what looks like a 4-hour setup here. So look at this one to be possibly playing out this structure. Even if it does bounce to the upside, we'll look for a blue box setup here. We'll be sending out this for members as soon as it confirms. US dollar ZAR, Now, US dollar ZAR, I've shown you earlier on here that we've got this one showing a pullback here, and we could see, not US dollar ZAR, US dollar yen, we could be seeing this one pushing to the upside. Let's have a look at that and see what we are getting here as far as the 4 hour is concerned. So on the 4 hour, we'll be expecting US dollar yen to possibly play out this structure, and we see more upside. Okay, euro yen. Now, euro yen, just like euro US dollar, is at a critical level here and maybe in for a bigger move to the downside. So euro yen, we'll be looking for this to play out this first. Now, if this does not come here and stop and make a continuation to the upside, then it's going to invalidate the whole structure that we're looking at. And what is the structure that we are looking at? The structure that we're looking at on euro yen, I'm showing you the weekly chart here, is this. We're looking for this. Now, if it stops here and reverses, changes the whole structure that we're looking at. And the structure that we're looking at is for this to come and give us the ABC corrective structure here. Now, if we don't get this one to continue to the upside, that means that whole bigger structure will be invalidated and we'll have to adjust. Now, what happens if it doesn't go to the upside and it starts doing this? That means it's a different structure, and instead we're going to have this, we're going to have this one here, and we're going to have something like this. That means we're still going to be more sideways on the structure, and we'll see this one come around this level and bounce. You see, it does not change much in terms of the bigger structure. It's just the path that it takes within the corrective structure, and we look for this. That's how we're looking at the euro. So we are currently at these levels. Any continuation to the downside, for now, we still look to take it because it is showing us bearish structures. Now, CHF yen makes sense for CHF yen to start dropping from current levels. Even if I'm showing you this on the weekly, you'll see that we've got this one exactly where we want it to be at this level. So we should see this one give us a deeper pullback or a move all the way to the downside. Why would we expect that? That's because of this. Now we've got this one here, looking for this one to have done 3 waves here. This has been a 3-wave structure with A, B, C. Now we're looking for CHF yen to possibly start the reversal at current levels here. So let's have a look here. If we get setups here for downside, remember they must be confirmed by the RSI or by the indicator that we use in combination with the Elliott wave structure. All right, so Audi US dollar, look at the weekly chart, textbook stuff. We've got this coming down, 1, 2, 3. You'll see that this is similar to the structure that we have on Audi US dollar. We've got to move down here, 1, 2, 3. Expect this one to come all the way down. This is not a small move, it's a weekly chart. So from here, from current levels where we are to where we're focusing, this is from 82 to about 74. That's over a 400 pip move that we're forecasting on Audi yen. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. Okay, so the 4 hour chart here, that is the move. So we've got that move here. So you'll see it looks like a straight line on the weekly, but this will not necessarily be a straight line on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, you may have similar to what you have here, these pullbacks. So you can have this one coming down here like this. So that's the expectation there on Audi yen to play out this structure initially, at least back to around 78 level. So if you get a setup here on the 4 hour, look to take this. There was already a 4 hour setup here. So look for another one for more downside. It will be similar structure with the New Zealand. Look at the New Zealand, it's the same. We've now seen this 3-wave pullback. It's coming down here. The 3-wave pullback here that gives us an opportunity for a sell. We'll look to take it all the way down as well, just like Audi yen. CAD yen, similarly, you'll see CAD yen has made these 3 waves to the downside, has made these 3 waves to the upside. Now we're coming down with this one now, just like the rest. The pullback here means continuation to the downside. That's what we're going to be looking at on CAD yen as well. Gold, let's have a look at the commodities. Gold, very interesting. Let's have a look at gold here. So we've got the gold set up here, looking for this one to push to the upside and possibly even retest this level. We did not get to this level, and it looks like gold may start the reversal at current levels. What will that mean for the structure? It means we would have had 3 waves to the downside, we would have had 3 waves to the upside. Okay, and with that, we'll expect this one to push slightly higher to complete there. Then we're going to expect this one to give us a move to the downside, either with an impulse or 3 waves to give us this corrective structure here. Okay, so that's what we have. So gold, a slight push to the upside or continuation to, or just a push to the downside from current levels. So that's what we're going to be looking at gold, whether we're going to get that small move first or we're just going to get to the downside first. Either way, we will catch that before the move because the indicator will tell us beforehand what to expect. And the overall structure that we'll be expecting is this the 5 waves to the upside, 5 waves to the upside, and look for downside. But we're not so worried about the rest of the structure. We're only worried about the next immediate move because that's what the indicator tells us. The rest of the structure, the cycles in the sequence tells us, but the next immediate move, that is what the indicator tells us. Now, silver. Looking at silver, similar to gold, we may get a bit of a move to the upside that will make a 3-wave structure on silver complete. Then we'll see downside just like gold. Platinum, right? Platinum looks to have completed a bigger structure here. Let's have a look here on the 4 hour. So it looks like we're about to get a deeper correction here on platinum. Let's keep an eye here on platinum. Looks to have made 5 waves, 5 clear waves on platinum. 1, 2, 3, running flat there. That is a 4th wave. 5. Is the 5th wave complete on platinum, or we're going to have slight move to the upside, and then we're going to get a deeper correction that corrects this whole move here on platinum. Let's have a look at the divergence as well. Now, if you look at this here, as much as platinum has been making higher highs here, the RSI has been making lower lows, rather lower highs. So eventually here, we are going to see, even if we do see a bit of a push to the upside on platinum, we're going to see a deeper correction here, big move to the downside, at least back to the 50% of the whole move. Brent crude, we are looking for this one to start the reversal. Just like platinum, I'm going to show you on this one on the daily as well. You'll see that there's a very strong divergence on the daily. Look at this divergence. Look at this. It has been making higher highs, but the RSI has not been confirming that. And it means Brent crude, as much as we can get one more up here, we are going to get a deeper correction here because we've got that strong divergence between waves 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So we're looking for this deeper correction to start here now. It is risky to buy Brent crude. Yes, we had a setup here for a blue box looking for one more up, but has not confirmed us yet. We're looking for this one to play out the 3-wave structure to give us that one more up, but we do not get that confirmation. Let's have a look at this. We have this one as a blue box setup. Looking for a reaction here, but we have not had a reaction as yet. So we'll be waiting to see, are we going to get a reaction, or is this just going to give us 1, 2, 3? The reaction may be 3 waves as well, and then we get 1, 2, 3. So we can get a deeper one, giving us a WXY corrective structure. We'll be watching oil accordingly. Right, so that is Brent crude oil. Let's go to the pound pairs. Now, pound AUD, we're watching to see here, this structure here. Is this simply a 3-wave structure, and we start seeing downside? That is the expectation. We want to see that make a move to the downside. Okay, has not confirmed yet because there's a possibility that this pushes slightly higher here. If we do push slightly higher or continue up higher here, that may change the structure to give us an impulsive move. And if we're getting an impulsive move, that means the whole structure changes, and we'll start looking at the following structure as well. Let's have a look at. So we will be looking at, if we start seeing continuation to the upside here, let's have a look here. And that is the likely structure to happen. This is the move up in 3. This is a move back in 3. We could see another potential move to the upside in 3 before we get that reversal. So let's keep an eye at these levels here. Pound New Zealand, you've already seen this one during trade recap. I'm not gonna repeat this one. We are expecting this one to continue to the downside. We already took this trade in the blue box. Pound CAD, you already saw that. Pound Chief, you already saw that. I'm not gonna repeat them. Euro pound, we can look at Euro pound. So Euro pound continues to the downside after making this running flat. We've made this running flat here on Euro pound. So expect Euro pound 1, 2, 3. Euro pound to continue to the downside. Even if you're getting a pullback here, that'll just be a continuation to pattern for more downside. Euro AUD, we've already looked at Euro AUD. So Euro AUD, similarly, we're expecting this to continue to the downside. We've got a 3-wave pullback and move to the downside. We'll expect Euro AUD to come down. Even if it comes down, bounces from this level, this will be a blue box area. We'll look for that one to continue lower. Okay, so that's what we have on the Euro AUD. wait for it to complete this structure now, because we're building up a corrective structure at those levels. Euro New Zealand, a 3-wave pullback and continuation to the downside. Textbook stuff, that's a 3-wave pullback. Looking for this one to continue lower. Any consolidation around these levels, look for Euro New Zealand to continue lower. Let's go 4 hour. Now on the 4 hour, if you look at this here on the 4 hour, we've got one pullback here is possible and continuation to the downside. Still bearish overall. That is Euro New Zealand, EURCAD. EURCAD, that's the move here. It's an impulse. It's also an impulse. We can start consolidating here, push lower, bounce and continue to the downside. I would like this one because that will give us an opportunity to sell this one from around these levels and downside. That is EURCAD. EUROCHF, nothing to talk about there. So EUROCHF, all of you remember, if you watched previous videos, you will remember that we have been selling EUROCHF from around this level. The same time we've been selling pound CHF at this exact level. This is what we've been looking for. So from 0.900 to 0.73, that's already 500 pips here. Looking for this to continue lower. A break below this structure, which is very likely, it means we're going to see further downside. So what is likely to happen here is that we consolidate around these levels and we see more downside on EUROCHF. The crosses, how many times have we spoken about this one? This is now Euro New Zealand. If you remember Euro New Zealand, we've shown this one 3 weeks back, showing how we forecasted this one from here, that we're going to have a push to the upside, which we did, and then we're going to have these 3 waves. So detailed structure on this. So there was also a expectation of a structure like this before the drop here, but this version here is not going to play out as it's not supported by the indicator. So we're going to expect this to come here and take the low here. Okay, so we may be continuing to the downside. We may break lower, just pull back and continue to the downside as far as AUD New Zealand is concerned. So we're still pretty much bearish there. There's no question about that. You can see it's consolidating with the 4-hour structure, not necessarily a trade. We will look, if it's a trade, it's going to pull back to around these levels. AUDCAD. Okay, AUDCAD, let's have a look here. Should continue to the downside. Just looking at the structure here, we can bounce here, either there or around these levels. So that would be 1, 2, 3. Let's see how far that goes on AUDCAD. Bearish, regardless. Now, AUDCHF has played out these 3 waves here. We've got these 3 waves, 1, 2, 3. We will now come down with this structure here, running flat, showing us continuation to the downside. We should see this one push a little bit lower before any pullback. That is our AUDCHF New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD, that spike is part of the market structure. Do not ignore it. What is happening with that spike is that we've got a 5-wave move to the upside. We've got a 3-wave pullback. You've got a move to the upside in 5 waves. What you have now is a move coming back down here. That is another impulsive move to the downside, looking for this one to do that. Okay, so that is a part of the structure. So do not disqualify the spikes. They are part of market data. Price has traveled here, so you consider that level. We're looking for this one to consolidate and continue to the downside. That is New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CHF. Now looking at New Zealand CHF, similarly, we're expecting this one to give us a 3-wave structure. This is a move down here. We'll expect New Zealand CHF to just consolidate here and push lower. CAD CHF. Now CAD CHF, still bearish as well. Even if we do get a 3-wave pullback, we'll still see CAD CHF continue to the downside. We're not going to reverse there. Still bearish there on CAD CHF. Why are we bearish on this one? To see this, why we're bearish, remember the structure here. This is 1, 2, 3 waves. This is 1, 2, and we're looking for this one to continue to the downside. That's why I'm saying bearish around that level. Now looking at the indices, I've already shown you the indices and why we expected the indices to just continue pushing to the upside. We've got this 3-wave pull blue box here on the S&P 500. You've seen the NASDAQ trade setup, and we're expecting this one to now start giving us a deeper pull back. Okay, so that is the expectation here. with this one here, we'll be looking for this to give us a deeper pullback and a continuation to the downside. All right, so we're expecting a move to the downside on the S&P 500. The Dow Jones has already started the move. As you can see here, we already have 3 waves down around this level here. We'll be looking for this one to give us a continuation to the downside. All right, so that is what we have here on this structure. All right, so that is the Dow Jones Industrial, the Dow Jones Transportation, already making what looks like capitulation there. We'll look for this one to continue to the downside. It's time for the indices to give us a pullback now. NASDAQ, you've already seen this one during trade recaps, how we got this one from around here, the blue box. Now we'll be looking for this to push slightly higher before we get a deeper pullback. UK 100. The UK 100 have already made this pullback here. Remember, we've been looking at that divergence for the last 2 or 3 weeks, looking at that one to be coming down here and giving us a 3-wave pullback as follows. So just to remind you, the divergence that we've been seeing, this is what we were seeing here. As it was making higher highs here, we were seeing that the RSI had already started the move to the downside. So it was no surprise to see that this one is going to break lower and we're going to have this one pulling back and a move to the downside like that. So that is what we've got on the UK 100, looking for that to pull back and continue to the downside. And the DAX, similarly, we're going to start expecting to get a deeper pullback and a deeper pullback as follows. So current levels, is time for pullback, guys. So do trade responsibly around those levels. With the Nikkei, we've got this one starting a move to the upside here with a diagonal after making 1, 2, 3. That is a structure, the flat here. We're starting a move to the upside here with a diagonal. So we're looking at this as a diagonal, and this diagonal is still pushing slightly higher. So before we have any pullback, we are going to see the Nikkei, rather, the Nikkei give us one more move to the upside. Where's the one more move I'm talking about? Right here. We're going to see here, we're going to have a bit of a move to the upside. Then we're going to have a deeper pullback and then a move to the upside. That's how we're looking at the Nikkei and the indices. The Nifty is a textbook. It's a classic example of a textbook 3-wave corrective structure as follows: 1, 2, 3, with 2 degrees here, lower degree, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We expect this one to push back up here and give us another 3 waves before we start looking for this to continue to the upside. So that is the structure on the indices, pullbacks all across. And that's what we're going to be expecting into the new week. And that's all I have for you for this week, guys. Don't forget to check out our website for our specials. And if you like what we do, give us that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button so you can get an alert next time we upload the video. And I will see you next week. For those that are looking for the crypto webinar, it will be in the next webinar we do right now. And you can check it out on the channel. Check the next video on the channel. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.